Hello my friends, this is lesson 48 in the Violin Class for Beginners course. Welcome to Prime Strings, I'm Henriette and this is a wonderful lesson again where we're going to play duet, so stick with me right through to the end of this video. We are playing the study number 5. If you have a red book you can find it on page 51. If you have a green book you probably can't find it because it's not in there, but below this video in the description right there I will have a link so that you can download your own copy and you can print it off at home. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this study a little bit and I'll help you get to grips with it, and then towards the end of this lesson you can see that this is a duet, so I will play you the duet part. So hopefully by the end of the lesson we can play as a duet like we've played in the past. So if you found this study, let's have a look at it first. We're playing in common time. You can see the top where it has a big C, and that means common time, and common time means there are 4 counts in each bar. Each beat of those counts, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, is a crotchet note. In America you call that note a quarter note. And you've got 4 of these, but there aren't actually very many bars. In fact, there is not a single bar in this whole piece in the top part where you play 4 quarter notes, 4 crotchets in each bar. So we're going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, rest. Now when we play 4 quavers, 4 eighth notes slurred, as you can see at the top in the first bar, we're going to give each of those notes roughly about 1/4 of the bow. So when you play 4 notes slurred, you're aiming to play in the middle of the bow after you've completed 2 notes. So let's first practice that, shall we? Let's play it from the beginning, and we're just going to dive straight in, trying to share out the bow equally among those 4 quaver notes, 4 eighth notes. I'll count us in for 4 and I'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now something else that we need to think about is our key signature, and we've got 2 sharps in this piece, an F sharp and a C sharp. We're playing in the key of D major. I know that because if you look at the very last note of this piece we're finishing on a D. Now if you have learned your 3 scales as suggested in lesson 46 and 47, you will know that in the D major scale you've got wide second fingers on D and A, but you've got a close second finger on the E string. So my finger pattern is wide, wide, close, close. We don't need to worry about our finger pattern on the G string in this piece because we're not playing on the G string at all. So once we've got all of that information, shall we play it again from the beginning? And we'll just see how far we can get. I'll count us in for 4 again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... for a moment. We have come across 2 different things. Take a look at bar 3 first of all. We're going to start bar 3 right here because we need 4 notes on that bow, and then we'll play a raised second finger on the A string, but then a closed second finger on the E string. Let's just play bar 3, shall we? And you can hear that, can't you? That low second finger on the E string makes this sound very special. Very nice. Now we're going to just think again about the whole first line. You see the rest in bar 2 and in bar 4, don't you? The bar 2, I go up to the middle on this note and then I'm sort of flying through the air when I play the rest, and then I'm getting ready to start in bar 3 right at the heel, you see. I'll play you bar 2 again. Long, half bow, and fly the rest, so you don't actually make that sound. You've got to beat rest, but it allows you to get ready in bar 3 at the heel of the bow. And that comes twice. It's bar 2 and bar 4. It's the same sort of bowing. So let's go from the start again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Carry on now. Awesome, and you see you've got the same bowing again here in this last bar that we've played. Let's pick out bar 7 now, because we're playing a little game with the second finger on the E string there. First of all, we get the accidental, the sharp for the G sharp. Okay, that just appears once, and then it tells you to go back to a G natural. So you get... Let's practice this bar, shall we? First we've got the raised second finger, and now together. Lovely, let's do that again, and then have the next bar as well, and that is really, really clever playing. Well done. That's difficult stuff, this, and you're doing great. Let's carry on, shall we? After the rest, towards the end of the second line, and let's hold it here for a moment, because in this last bar that we've played, you're going to prepare your fourth fingers. We're playing down a scale, so like we've done in the previous 2 lessons, bring your elbow under when you go for the fourth fingers there. Now we're starting our practice on the 4th line, so we can really practice that. Starting on the open E string, 4th line, and bring your elbow round, and again. So you see, when you go from the E string to the A string, you go a little bit, and then a bit further when you then go to the fourth finger on the D string. Shall we play the same place again, and then we'll carry on? 3 and 4 and... 2. Rest, rest. Really nice. And for those of you who are super observant, you hear that we finish here on a D major arpeggio. And that reinforces our perception of that D major key signature. You see that D key of D major, you can really hear it very clearly here at the end. Now when you play a study which has, or any piece which has so many slurs, it means that you're going to be playing this very smoothly, because you've got the slurs, makes the music smoother. It's called legato in musical terms. So we have to be very careful that we don't jerk the bow at the end of each bow stroke. I hear this quite a lot. Don't imitate me, because this is not good what I'm doing. Can you hear? Jerks of the bow at the end of every bow stroke. So, and that is because we have probably not used enough bow, so that we want to quickly make up using the whole bow and speeding up the bow just before the bow change. I'll show you again. Can you see? I'm using, my bows are too short. Now let's try and cure that by just speeding the bow up a little bit more. You see, now I eliminate that little jerk on the bow stroke because I have no option but to change the bow, you see. But if we want to make very smooth bow changes at the heel, our fingers on the bow will need to be very flexible. So I want you to practice this with me and see if you can hold the bow in a very soft way, so you're not squeezing the bow but softening it up. If you drop the bow, of course you don't want to drop the bow, but that would be excellent because it shows me that you're not holding the bow, it's just balancing in between your fingers. Now a good exercise to do to get some movement in your fingers, because when you're first learning the violin that is very difficult to do. A good exercise to promote that is to start a bit lower and then move the bow up towards the ceiling and then squeezing your fingers. So look, I'm squeezing my fingers but also my thumb as I go up. Can't go up much further than that. And then as I go down, I'm going to straighten my fingers. And up, squeeze your fingers, make them softer, make them rounder. And now see if you can straighten them. Do that once more. And this is our movement that we're going to be using when we play the bow changes at the heel of the bow. Now, when you're first learning, that is incredibly difficult to do. So please don't force it. I'm just introducing this to you now so that we gradually begin to think about that. What you might do as your first step is to try and become more aware whether you're squeezing that bow really hard or whether you have to have a softer bow grip. I'll show you how that works when we play the music. So first of all, I'm showing you this. Can you see? I'm going to start with more flexible fingers. Now look. Can you see that? So I'm just flicking my fingers like that, and that makes my bow change. And that is a much smaller movement compared with when I change the bows with my elbow, with my upper arm, you see. This is going to be much more likely to be jerky than that. It's much more smooth, you see. So I want you to start to think about that a little bit in this lesson, and then we'll refine it over time. As always with violin playing, we're learning the things that we're learning today, but we're also preparing for what is to come in future, and this is one of those things. Shall we play the whole piece from the beginning to the end, just to get you into a habit of playing through without stopping, and then we have one more go after that where we play it in two parts. Here we go from the start. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Lovely job. That is absolutely fantastic playing if you manage to keep up with me all the way through. So super, super work. You may have noticed when we were playing that there are sections where the music wants you to play louder and wants you to play softer again. And also when you hit the fourth line, the third bar of the fourth line, where the music comes back. So the beginning comes back there. So you might just hold the note, the bar before, and this is the second bar of the fourth line, hold it back a little bit. You might even write in your music poco ritenuto. We've come across that word before, haven't we? Slow it down a little bit before the beginning then comes back again. It's those expressive touches that you add to your music which makes your pieces sound very personal. And I think at this stage in your playing also you can try and make your music more personal, more your own piece, by slowing down or speeding up, by adding some louder playing, some softer playing, by emphasizing some notes but not others. And that's another suggestion that I wanted to give you today. Take a look at the end of line 2, the last bar of line 2. That bar starts on the second finger, doesn't it? The first bar of line 3, however, starts on a third finger. The second bar of line 3 starts on an E, then the following bar on an F sharp, you see? And it's that line that I want to bring out. I'll start now at the end of line 2. Is a step higher than the bar before. If you were to sing that, you'd go a little bit louder, a bit more strongly every single bar, and that's something nice that you can add to your playing as well. So now when we're going to play this piece in 2 parts, I want you just to let your imagination run off with you a little bit, and where you feel like you want to play louder, do go ahead and play a little bit more loudly, and where you feel like the music is sort of winding down a little bit, let it go a little bit softer as well. So here we go. This is our final playing today, and we're going to play it as a duet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... And I really hope that you enjoyed that. I certainly did. If you haven't already made a comment in the comment section, why not use today's lesson as your first time to add a comment? Tell me how you got on with this and how it worked for you. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.